All right. Do we have the live stream going, Cassandra?
Yes, it is. We are live now. Do you want me to
Fantastic.
record?
Nope, I can hit record.
Okay.
Sounds good. Oh, it looks like I'm now sending you a request. So there we go. We're good. All right, getting started. This is the June 4th session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is Ashton Tucker. I am going to be serving as your zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati. I'm going to be presiding over this hearing. This case before us today is case number ZH20250046. I do have to read a little bit of a script to you guys. It's for my benefit as well as yours. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant will first present the applicant's case. That includes anybody who is here on behalf of the applicant. The public will have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. I don't think we have anybody here from the public. Then I will have the planning department produced the staff report regarding this application, provide any testimony, and ultimately, if any party testified or offered any argument in opposition to this application, the applicant and its representatives will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony or offer any argument in opposition. After the applicant has done that, I will then allow for any closing statements. At the end of the day, the applicant is going to have the last word. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing and then I will be making a written decision. I do have to give you a written decision. It can be expected within 2 weeks or so. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask any questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the video conferencing technology, I may continue or postpone this hearing at my discretion. If I can troubleshoot it, I will, if I can. So if anybody here is planning to testify this morning, if you could unmute yourselves and raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We'll start with the applicant side. Is there anybody who would prefer to lead this?
Yes, Mike Banker from Emboss. I'll take the lead on this, and I can also share my screen. I have the different documents that were submitted for this, as
Okay.
well as the staff report, and then a couple other just renderings, plans that might be helpful to share.
Okay.
I think first what I would like is for JB Booth, who is the CEO of Crossroads, to explain how Crossroads operates, what services they provide, and how that will pertain to this new facility, since the facility and the parking, all of that is designed to serve the clients and communities needs. So JB, if you could speak a little bit maybe to Crossroads um, as a whole, and then for this building, what will be provided, and I can get more into the details of the building and parking lot as needed.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike. So the Crossroads Center is a mental health and addiction substance use disorders clinic. In addition to our outpatient services, we also have a residential unit, and we provide 24-hour a day, 7-day a week services on the residential unit. So we have a mental health and substance abuse outpatient program where we serve a number of patients on a daily basis who come into our organization for anywhere from an hour to maybe a little bit longer for services with our therapists, our counselors. So that is really our outpatient services program. As I mentioned, we have the residential program, and we have, well, at the new building, we will have a total of 26 beds on this residential unit. These individuals will, have visitors from time to time during the day. So in addition to the therapist visits with our outpatient program, we serve about 200 of those individuals a year. And then in addition to that, we have our medication assistance programs. And it's primarily a methadone clinic where we will serve anywhere from 350 to 400 individuals a day. Now, those individuals come in for their treatment and then leave. So sometimes they're here for a brief period of time, but all of those individuals see a counselor once a week. So they will come in to receive their medication some days and be here for a short period of time. But then some days they will come and they will receive their medication, but then also stay to meet with a counselor around at least once a week or so, sometimes more often. It just depends on how that individual is doing. So we have right now about 70 employees as well. Not all of them are on day shift. Some of them are on the night shift because of the residential unit. Some of our clients take public transportation. Some of them drive. Same thing with our staff. We have some staff that use public transportation. That's kind of hard to estimate. Sometimes they drive, sometimes they use public transportation. But as you can see, we have a number of people who are coming in and out of our facility every day. Anything else, Mike, that I may have missed?
I think that's good. I'll go ahead and pull up the drawings showing where this project is located. We'll zoom out and then can zoom in onto the site and the building. So I am going to share my screen. Hopefully everyone can see the map that's pulled up. This is part of what was in our zoning hearing application docs. So this site right now, where this building is located, is shown in magenta. It was previously 2 existing buildings that have since been torn down, and construction on the new building has started. We actually had our groundbreaking ceremony with the city a couple of weeks ago. So this is just showing where it's located on Reading Road. It's right across from the graders, and what this shows is the character of the surrounding buildings in the area. So looking at the site itself, you can see right here we have the building on the southwest corner right here. We have the parking to the north, and something that is evident for anyone that's been in this area and was a big part of this project is we have a big hillside right here that we're building right up to. We're not really encroaching in the hillside, but that's what's limiting any farther development on this portion of the site here. As part of the hillside retaining, we're also required to keep a portion of the existing building's foundation walls that will serve as retaining walls. So that's why additional parking spaces are not currently shown in this area. So as JB mentioned, and this has always been one of the challenges with this project, is there's a very large parking demand that fluctuates and to a certain extent is a little bit unpredictable based on a lot of the patients coming in via the bus, or some bring their own vehicle. Early on, there was a desire for 80 plus spaces, in design schemes. Through design development, we were showing 77. We went all the way down to 69 when we submitted for permit, and essentially what that is shown is what's right here. And as a result of what a zoning code paragraph section that was added in July of 2024, right when we were wrapping up the final design and submitting for permit, there was this portion of the zoning code that was added where we had to go from this type of layout with 69 spaces to adding in these additional landscape islands to break up the parking lot, which was over a quarter of an acre, into two smaller sections. And so as part of our permit revision process, in order to get the permit, we went ahead and put these in. We had to get a permit as soon as possible, as that was tied to the funding, a lot of the funding we were receiving for this project. So we just didn't have the time to submit for this special exemption during the pre-permit phase, which is why we're requesting it now. If we get this granted, we would incorporate this as an engineering change. So a couple things to note with this request that we noted in our publication, or our application, I should say, is aside from the need of Crossroads and their clientele, which is our biggest reason for requesting this special exemption, is that as it relates to the surrounding area, you can see shown here, none of these other parking lots in the area, many of which have more spaces, do not have these landscape islands in there breaking it up. Our site is relatively elevated from the street. You can see here, here's a rendering of what it looks like from Reading Road as you look up. This is the building itself to give you an idea of scale. But we feel, and also in addition to this, we do have a landscape buffer up front that we've added additional landscape to. We're proposing to relocate trees that were displaced that were previously in these islands to other locations. So we try to buffer it as much as we can, and it is really just a request to get these 6 parking spaces back is what we are asking for this special exemption. So I don't know if there's any other questions, if Trey or anyone else has anything they want to add or have us follow up on.
I'm going to stop the sharing just for now.
Okay.
I will, let's see, Katie Rademacher, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Good morning, everybody. So I think Mike covered the request really well and explained pretty thoroughly the need and the surrounding land uses and how this adding these 6 spaces in will be harmonious with what's around. And I think additionally, Crossroads, they need every space that they can possibly get on this site to serve their clients and for their staff for parking. And if they don't have these 6 spaces, it's not like there's other options for parking. There's no on-street parking. And this is an intersection that in a road stretch that is very busy and highly trafficked. And so there's not options for clients and staff to park otherwise unless it's on site. So that was just something I thought should be added. But other than that, yeah, I think Mike covered everything else.
Mike Dooley?
Yeah, I'm just here to answer questions on the technical side if there are any.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I'll go ahead and turn it over to the planning department. Mr. Sheldon, what would you like me to know from the planning department's position?
I think most of that's been covered, but I'll just kind of repeat a little bit of it in the order of priority that I think Ms. Rademacher pointed out. There is absolutely no street parking here. It's an extremely busy stretch of Reading Road. And as Mr. Baker pointed out, the hillside, it's not only a very steep hillside in the back there, but it's also a landslide susceptibility area, and it's in the hillside overlay. So when Bear Becker was going through developing site plans for this, they made went to great effort to avoid intruding into the hillside, which itself would have required additional engineering, additional expenses, and probably a zoning hearing, because almost assuredly they would have needed to excavate more than 8 feet cumulative excavation and fill. And that's a trigger for hillside review. So they to create more parking back there would have created more expense, more engineering, and another hearing. Maybe not for this, because they could have maybe provided the island, but it's just not very feasible or practical to be trying to do any additional parking to the rear of the site at all. Mr. Beckert also pointed out that part of the building uphill on Reading, kind of north on Reading Road, had a sufficient enough concrete foundation that it made, like cost engineering sense to when the building was being demolished, to have it just be an alteration rather than full demolition. And it left those walls there holding back the slope, the hillside. So it acts in that capacity. So they really couldn't create additional parking there either, because if you removed any of that soil or anything back into there, you could undermine what amounts to a retaining wall. It's the foundation of the building remaining. So there's just no functional place to have any more additional parking. Lastly, I would just note that the legislation that the ordinance in the zoning ordinance, when the change was made, was pretty much coincided exactly when they were trying to do this project, such that when they were first planning the project, you would have had different rules, which would not have required these islands. But by the time they came through and had permitting and so on, the legislation had gone into effect, requiring those separate quarter acre, separate areas for the landscaping. So lastly, I'd just like to point out that they really, the rest of the project is landscaped in a more robust manner than would have been required in the under the past ordinance. So they really, more than almost any of the other parking lots in this vicinity, they're going to have a lot more landscaping. They're going to have the tree lawn out along the street with canopy trees that'll grow, larger and and help to screen it and soften it. So, I think this is a very reasonable request.
Thank you.
You're
Like I said before, applicant will get the last word. Anything, from the applicants to add?
Nope.
Okay. All right, well, I am intending to approve this. I do have to give you, a formal decision that says that. But anything that you can do, without that in the moment, you can get started on. That being said, I will be approving it. You will have to get this, a written decision. I will try to have it out to you within 2 weeks. I'm covering for somebody right now, so you might have to give me a little grace. All right. Thank you, everybody. I will conclude this.
I do have
hearing.
one thing to
Oh,
add.
I'm
if you
sorry. Go ahead.
Don't mind, Mr. Secretary. I'm gonna be out of town starting midday on the 18th. So with regard to permitting, Mike, can you make sure that with the permitting that you provide maybe a copy of the decision or something for like well, it could be that one of my colleagues will end up having to
Okay.
if the decision comes in while I'm gone, if you feel what I'm saying, you
Sure.
might want to make sure that somebody's made aware of that. Does that make sense?
Yep, no,
You know-
makes perfect sense to me. I'll check in and make sure who I need to send it to. No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it'll go to
Yeah.
Emily A House. She'll be
Oh,
copied.
Emily
The zoning-
Hale? Okay.
The zoning administrator, who she'll be aware I'm out of town, but just I'm just
All right.
letting somebody
Yep.
know that in case, there's a revision or something else to the are
No,
we in for a revision right now, Mike? Is that how it was?
Well, this will be an engineering
Engineering change?
change,
Okay.
so we can include the written decision once we get that as part of, like, as an attachment to the
That's right,
drawing
yeah, because the permit was
revisions
already
to
issued, yeah, that
incorporate.
makes sense,
Mhm.
so, yeah, just in the event that the decision comes out while I'm out of town, I'm just trying to make it easier for my colleagues so that they don't have to, whoever's covering for me doesn't have to, look all this up or find out about it, so.
absolutely fair.
Yep.
What I'll do
Thanks.
is I'll just CC Emily A House on it regardless, and
Okay.
that way everybody gets a copy.
Yep.
All
Understood.
right.
Great.
Well, thank you, everybody. and
Appreciate your
I-
time today.
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
I will go ahead and conclude this hearing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.